Okay, here's the problem. As you can see, this shed has no usable storage and everything just ends up all over the place. So this week's side project is to get organized. This is actually a client of mine's house. So I've previously come over and taken some measurements and made some cuts before coming out. And as you'll see, everything pretty much worked out. I had to make a few additional cuts, but after that, first things first was getting the supports put in. I am tying everything into the existing 2x4s. After getting everything spaced out the way I wanted it, the next step was to get it up on the wall. I am running a couple screws into each exposed 2x4. Okay, next step was to get that front 2x4 put on. Just did that by getting one side anchored in and then just going through and making sure everything was level. Now what I'm doing here is actually putting some pocket holes into one of my supports because of the way that I had to tie this shelf into the existing 2x4s. I couldn't get screws into the 2x4s to support the shelf and get that support member in there. So what I ended up doing is just go ahead and tying in the shelf and then going back in after and attaching that support using pocket holes. Made it super easy to kind of accomplish everything I needed to accomplish. Then I just had to repeat the process 3 more times. As you see, I do have a lot of yellow tools. I am a big fan of DeWalt. That's the majority of the tools that I run when I'm doing jobs like this for a client. I do have some red tools, as you'll see here in a bit, so I'm not partial to any one brand. I really have enjoyed the DeWalt tools that I do have. I've got the driver that I used here, circle saw, and a multi-tool. Those are the 3 big ones I use. I've also got a sander that I use as well. But those are the 3 big ones on this job. And I just recently got into the Milwaukee 12-volt system. So I've got the drill and driver that I've also seen, and you may see in this video. I do use it some. Big fan of that for installing stuff on certain projects and some smaller stuff. But those are normally just as powerful. So big fan of those tools. I'm going to have all those tools listed in the description below, so if you are interested, you can check them out. The other thing I wanted to shout out real quick was that little pouch on my tool belt. It's really all I have on there. Picked it up. It's called a Joey pouch. Picked it up on Amazon a couple weeks ago. Has been super useful. So if you're interested, it's pretty inexpensive. Check it out. Okay, the next step was to get the plywood top on. What I'm doing right now is marking each one of those 2x4s because I wanted to make sure the plywood top went all the way up against the wall. I didn't want any blank space behind where stuff could fall through. I decided to use the circle saw to cut the longer part and then go back with the multi-tool and cut the shorter part. Ended up working really well. Fortunately, everything lined up pretty good. Here's where those red tools came in handy. This is the 12-volt Milwaukee driver. Got a 4 amp hour battery in there, and I used it to get all the screws into the top of the plywood. I did decide to go ahead and throw a middle support here. Probably could have gone without, but decided to just go ahead and do it. Rather be safe than sorry. Finishing touches here, just getting everything cleaned up and ready to get reorganized. All right, that pretty much wraps up today's side project. Everything turned out pretty good. Customer was happy with everything. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next side project.